So share with our audience a tale about a student who stands out in your mind over the last few years.
Yep.
And then share why that person sticks in your brain, because that is always the big question. How does an applicant stand out, whether on paper or in person or whatever that may be?
Sure. It's interesting. So thinking back to something that you had just said about sort of a well-known school, St. Mary's, we appear on these lists called the hidden gem lists because we are an extraordinary choice for people who know us. And so I always, encourage people to explore and get a sense of who we are, because we may be very well the best kept secret that's out there. So to really respond to your question, it's really interesting. So many students over the years have stood out to me for various reasons. Most of the time, there's a theme to why they stand out. And it's ultimately because we get to know them personally, whether that be through the interaction we had with the student when they came to visit, the interaction that we had with them when we were on the phone with them, or through email. And, it's so much, as we think about all the proverbial paper that we look at, right? The application, the essays, all of these, the recommendations, all of these pieces, it really is the one thing that a student can do is to help themselves stand out by really reaching out and helping to present themselves as a person, and to make sure that they come to life in that way with whomever they're interacting, whether that be their admission counselor, like I said, on the phone, or whether that be with the tour guide or the admission counselor when they're visiting a particular campus. The one applicant that if I were to choose that stood out to me was because she was the exact opposite of what I just recommended students to do. She was a recent applicant, and ultimately we know more about her father than we know about her. And whenever we call the house, her father answers. Whenever there's a question, it's from the father. Right now we're doing a lot of virtual events, as colleges only can do at this point in time. The father is the one who is there, very, very rare, or the one who's asking the questions. We don't see much from that student. So I think it's really important that as students think about this, that this really is about not only fit, as I discussed earlier, but this is really about owning the process. At the end of the day, you're going to be most happy where you feel that you're going to most easily sort of achieve your dreams, right? But if you haven't been participating in the process, how are you going to know where that place really is? And so I really encourage students to make sure that to take the lead in this process. Work with your parents, of course, keep them involved, because I've heard plenty of stories about sort of arguments around the dining room table when parents don't know and students don't know what each other are doing when it comes to college. But ultimately, students, this is your process. It's going to be your college experience. It's going to be your future. Really take the reins and own this process, and don't let your parent be the driver in this. Certainly you share information, certainly you make sure you're on the same page, but students should be driving.
Oh, yes. Such a good lesson. Oh my gosh. If that's a golden nugget right there, you all. If you didn't catch it all, rewind and play it again. Because I'm going to just say this. When I was working in the mission office for Vassar, and I would, go around the country, my territories, and we were back then, I can't imagine this anymore, being in a ballroom with a whole audience of hundreds of people at the same time. But at the end, a few students and their parents would come up to me and want to ask personal questions. And every time the question came from the parent, I would turn my eyes to the student and answer the question to the student. And it was my, I don't know, passive aggressive, or just my way of sort of reminding the parent, this is not your process. It's not really your question. It's her question, his question, your child's question. And just, after 2 times of doing that, they would get it. And then the kid would start to answer. So love that. Very, very good. Very good tip, you guys, and a great tale that you remember. Okay, the last question for you is briefly share with us, why do you do what you do? What gets you up every
Sure.
morning?
So as you think back to my story about my own college search process, I think that's why I ended up in college admission. Is my passion is about students finding colleges and colleges finding students. And the process that we go through, because there's so many great fit colleges for so many different students that I just love getting up every day and look forward to the conversations that I have with my colleagues, with colleagues here on campus, colleagues on the other side of the desk, as well as prospective students and their parents and current students, to make sure that students are thinking about the process in a holistic way and really thinking about what's important to them and making sort of a college list and a college choice that really resonates with that degree of importance. I really like being here at St. Mary's College in many ways because of our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, which really resonates with the original founding of the state for religious tolerance, as well as then our ethos as a campus. And I found that, and this is part of my passion, is that it is critical to me that as colleges and in my work, we are thinking about how we are always communicating to students and appreciating where they are. And not coming at it from where we are, but coming at it from, here's the information we have to share, but we need to do it in a way that's going to connect with students and families where they are. It is tremendously important that is different from a student who has a tremendous college-going tradition in their family, a student coming from an underrepresented background, a student coming from a first-generation background. The information we need to impart is the same, but how we need to do it is very different. And I just really love moving the needle on the work that we do here at the college to make sure that we are seen as a place that is accessible for students coming from all backgrounds, so we can continue to keep St. Mary's weird.
Oh my goodness. Well, what you're seeing there on the screen, if you're watching and not just listening, I just put this up here so you can take note of David's first name and last name, Hautanen, spelled Hautanen. And that's at St. Mary's College in Maryland. So you can find him, right? Is it pretty easy to find you on the website? I found you pretty easily, right?
Oh, yeah, it's very easy to find me on the website. And we also have admission counselors who are responsible for certain territories. So don't hesitate to reach out to me. Don't hesitate to reach out to any of our admission counselors. And we'd love to have you visit campus and get a chance to experience some of what I've shared in terms of our beautiful location. It's about an hour and a half from DC.
Well, and I love websites, admission websites that make it very easy to find your counselor. So
yes,
is yours one of those? Okay. Oh,
yes, it is.
That.
And I think the link is exactly that. Find your counselor.
Oh my goodness, I love this. Okay, I should have looked that up before, but you guys, that's my favorite. It's frustrating when it's hard to find, because that really should be the person you contact. You're welcome to contact David, of course, and just say that you learned about St. Mary's from this podcast, but more than likely he'll direct you to who your person is. So, okay, stick with us for just a second, David. I'm gonna do the wrap up here. Okay, so I always like to pick up on what our guests say and sort of take some nuggets away. So today, yes, you've heard some tips and some truths and even a great tale that hopefully you took note of. But here are my takeaways for you. And this I'm going to specifically say is specifically for the teenagers who are listening, or parents. Please pass this on to your teens. So this is direct advice to the students. Sometimes it's to the parents, sometimes it's to the students. And this is for our students. Okay, so the real truth today, my friends, is this: be you, be weird, find your tribe, and take the lead. Those are my real takeaways from what David suggested today. So really what I mean by that is be you, be yourself now in high school, whatever it is that you're doing. Find something that you love, find your niche and all of that. And if you're weird, if it seems like you're weird in the context of where you are, you're not, you're perfectly normal. You just have to do the next thing, which is find your tribe. And finding your tribe in college, you're gonna just feel like, oh my goodness, where have my people been? So keep looking. There are plenty of colleges out there. And the last, but certainly not the least, in fact, I think this is the most important piece of advice, which is take the lead, take ownership, own this process, because at the end of the day, it's you going to college, not your parents, not your friends, not your neighbors, not your cousins, it's you. So find a way to have a good conversation with parents and let them be helpful to you, but not let them drive the process. So those are that's my truth for you. So let us all thank David for being with us today, and parents and teens who are listening, thank you for spending your time. We know this is a crazy time of in this pandemic, and all of our plates are very full. So thank you for choosing to spend some of your time with us and listening today. To thank you, I want you to go to my website if you haven't already and download your free gift. There are 3 choices depending on what age you are in high school, or your teen in high school. So pick your choice and download that free gift. And more than anything, if this episode has fueled your confidence or helped build any of your dreams, please consider sharing this episode with 3 people in the next 30 minutes. Someone out there, I guarantee, needs to hear this and needs to hear about St. Mary's waterfront property. Who doesn't want that? If you're feeling extra loving, please submit a review. It helps other parents and other teens find our podcast as well. You can also join us on Facebook and Destination University. It's for parents of NF with any age of teenagers or preteens. You are welcome to join us. So that's all I have for you today, my dreamers. Be sure to catch us next week. Same time, same place. Until then, have a happy and sunny day. Bye for now. So just wave, David. Bye, everyone. Okay. Bye.